welcome back, man. At the top of the year 2025, man. We another episode of For the Love of the Game. Wanted to bring you something new and exciting with a person that means the world to me, man. It's my blood, my little cousin. He's a trailblazer in this coaching lane, man. He's changing the game over here at Northside High School. Ben Johnson, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, big cuz. Thanks for having
So,
me,
Ben,
man.
a question we always ask, man, for the love of the game. When did the love of football start for you, and was football always your first love?
Football wasn't always my first love. It was basketball. But how I fell in love with football was, I was playing Metro. I think I got the story of, most young kids in Fort Wayne. I was playing Pee Wee for the Hurricanes. And I think it was like when I was 8 years old, and they put me in at quarterback. And at the end of that year, I got like MVP of the team, and it was just like, okay, so now I'm like, this might be my sport. Because everybody, when you grow up, you got that hoop in your room. My mom would let me have two big old basketball rims inside the house, in the driveway, and I spent all my time, doing that, shooting baskets. But football became like it was more natural for me. And then, throughout, just Metro, I would say Metro was when I, fell in love with the sport.
Got you. Give me a defining story from your childhood as a youth football player in Metro.
Ooh, um, I would say the adversity that came when I was 12, and we had a really good team. Shout out to the Prince Chapman Chargers. When I played for them, man, every year we went to the Super Bowl. When I was 9, we went to Super Bowl one. When I was 10, we lost. When I was 11, we went to the Super Bowl, we won. When I was 12, so here I am. I'm the starting quarterback. Everybody knows me throughout the whole league. I'm the man, and we make it to the Super Bowl. So we just won it last year, and we at the Super Bowl, and the team that we had to play, we had already played these dudes in the regular season. We beat them. They was the Redskins. And the Super Bowl was I'll never forget, the Super Bowl was at Southside High School. And we're there all day. We got our jerseys on, in Metro, you got your jersey, you got your pants on, and we walking around. We just feeling like them dudes. We about to win the Super Bowl. Now, mind you, the whole entire day, we never seen not one Redskin player. Like, are they even here? Like, are they even gonna show up? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, wow, like these dudes they not even here. They scared. Like, I'm the leader, so I'm telling all our teammates, like, they scared. And when the JV game was over, we getting dressed. We still ain't seen no Redskins. Mm-hmm. So then I can just remember the way they entered the stadium. And I was just like, their energy was different. And our energy was, we about to win another Super Bowl. Right. But it wasn't the focus where it needed to be. Gotcha. And, to make a long story short, we ended up getting blew out that game. It was like 28 to like 14, 27 to 13, something like that. And I just remember being in a huddle, going off on my teammates, and I'm getting, we threw the ball a lot. I'm back there, I'm getting sacked every play. It was just adversity, and it taught me a lot about, being cocky, not staying humble. Sure. At 12 years old, I'm just like, man, we were just way too cocky going into that game, and we got humbled pretty bad by a team that we beat pretty good in the regular season.
For sure. I'm gonna come back later in the show and revisit that statement because I want to talk about like mental approach to the game. But I want to continue on with your journey. So coming out of Metro, do you go straight in and you play middle school football for 1 year before transitioning into high school?
Yep. So Metro, 6th, 7th grade, you couldn't do both. So that was the thing. Like 6th and 7th grade, you went and played Metro. 8th grade, you played at your middle school. So I'm at Miami Middle School. So I go in there, I'm trying to play quarterback. And our coach wanted a running quarterback. And for me, it was like, I'm not no runner, I'm a passer. And he didn't believe in passing. You know, Coach Skelton was a guy that was like, he was all about 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We was I formation, and the only type of pass we would run, it was a boot off of it. So in the 8th grade, I ended up playing linebacker at Miami.
Gotcha. And then you transition into high school. Where do you play your high school football at?
So my freshman and sophomore years, I was at Snyder, and you know my pops, he played D line, and it was another situation. Adversity came because my freshman year going to Snyder, I'm thinking like, okay, I want to go play quarterback again, even though I wasn't able to play it at Miami. But man, this kid came from, I'll never forget his name. He came from Lane Middle School. His name was Matt Elliott. Shout out to you, Matt. I seen this dude throw one pass in practice. It was like in summer gym. And he threw a pass, man. That thing was like 60 yards in the air. And I was just like, I don't got that. I was like, man, I was like, man, when I seen that, and I mean, I'm talking about like Quell Lewis and Troy Davis and J.C. Martin, they was just like, they was trying to get this dude to play varsity as a freshman. So my thing is, man, I was smart, man, growing up. So I was always able to like self-evaluate and know like, okay, if I do this, this will be the outcome. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I just knew like this dude was special. I knew I was good, but I knew I wasn't as good as him. So I was just like, I gotta pivot. I gotta do something different because there's no way I'm gonna ever play over this kid. So I played D line my freshman sophomore year, you know, at Snyder, and then I ended up transferring back to my home school, which was Wayne. So my junior year, I go to Wayne, you know, and while I'm there, I'm playing D line too. So I just continue playing D line. Like my dad played D line, and I felt natural there. I played DN at Wayne as well.
Okay. So coming out of Wayne, you have some opportunities to play at the next level in college. What's your recruiting situation like coming out of high school?
So, you know, obviously when I'm in high school, I had the mentality like, man, I want to go D1. You know, I had the measurables. I was, you know, I'm 6'3", you know, 240 pounds. So I'm just like, I wanted to play at the highest level. But now as a coach and, you know, talking to college coaches, man, I worked hard, but I didn't work as hard as I should have. And then my junior year, I came out hot, man. My first 2 games, I had 2 sacks in each game, and then I ended up like tweaking my ankle. And then like I could never, I was rushing it back because I knew like my junior year was so important. I'm trying to play. And I just never, I wasn't explosive because it never healed the way it needed to because it was just a sprain. It wasn't broke, but I'm trying to play because I'm trying to get that film, you know? So as far as like my recruiting was going, man, it was like D3s and AIAs. I had a couple D2 situations, but I ended up settling for a Division III school in Anderson.
In Anderson?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens when you get to Anderson? What's your collegiate career look like when you get to Anderson?
So I get to Anderson, man, and that whole summer I'm working hard, man. I'm boxing, I'm running, cause I had a mentality like, look, I'm gonna go there. I know it's a smaller school, but I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to start, get on the field. You know, either transfer and go somewhere higher, or graduate and you know be a graduate trainer. Like that was my mindset. So I get there. And man, it's probably like 140 kids on the team, which is just crazy, right? So, you know, I'm calling my mom, I'm telling her, I'm telling my coach, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm telling my mom, like, man, it's a lot of kids up here, like, and she's like, you know, go there and do what you're supposed to do. So I did that, man, and I was the only freshman on the team that started. So I played 3 tech when I got to Anderson, And, because my coach was like, look, if you want to play, you going to have to put on like 25 pounds. So they put me on a crazy meal plan. And I had got up to like 275, like quick, like over the summer. That's just eating like 4 times a day.
Right.
And I mean, I'm talking about all my favorite foods, man. It was accessible to me every single day. And yeah, so that's where I went. And I had a great year that year as a freshman. I was like all conference as a freshman, and I done got into network marketing. I'm making money. I'm like, now I'm hearing the you don't need a college degree stuff,
For
and
sure.
I'm buying that, man. So I was done. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I never finished. Because I was listening to the noise, like noise that I shouldn't have been listening to. And when you're doing something that you think that you enjoy doing, and you making a great income, like I was making a great income, doing network marketing. Where in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to be a millionaire when I'm 20.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't need college.
I got you.
So that's when I decided that I wasn't gonna, keep playing.
Right. So to rewind a little bit and kind of give that collegiate story some context in terms of paying and your family making so much money that you didn't get a lot of money in for your FAFSA. Talk about the scholarship situation, because obviously you didn't receive a scholarship at Anderson, and then the scholarship situation at St. Francis, because I don't know if a lot of families understand the difference in playing Division III, Division II NAIA, Division II NCAA, the scholarship situation and money that's allotted to a kid that goes there.
So D2s give scholarships, athletic scholarships. NAIA does as well. D3 gives no athletic scholarships. Everything is like federal Pell Grant. You know, what was given to you from FAFSA, which included the Pell Grant. If you got 21st century scholars, all of that stuff. But it ties into how much your parents make. So if your parents, together, I don't really know the actual income thresholds, but the more money your parents make and you're filling out that FAFSA, the less you're going to get free money from the state. And that was the situation that I was in. So it was like, to go to that level, which is not a bad level at all. It was very competitive. Great players played there. It's gonna cost you.
Right.
It's gonna cost you something. And in hindsight, 2020, like I really should have just stuck it out and just took on that debt. You know what I mean? If I can go back in time, that's what I would have did.
Got you. So coming out of, did you leave St. Francis? So do you go directly into coaching? Kind of what's your path, and how do you stick around the sport once you leave St. Francis?
So I leave St. Francis. Like I said, I'm doing a network marketing thing, so I'm doing my thing in that realm. My younger siblings, I grew up with 10 siblings, man, and my younger ones, they're coming up through high school. So I had a brother that was at Wayne at the time. He was a sophomore. He ends up transferring to Lures. So the next 2 years, they won state championship. I had another brother that was coming through. He was there. So going into, I want to say, his junior year, he needed a ride. I don't even know why, because we live literally 10 minutes away, but kids act like they was too good to walk, right? So I'm at my mom's house, and he's like, BJ, can you take me to practice? And I'm like, boy, we don't walk, and he begged me to take him. I take him. They was having a camp at the time. So I'm just sitting around. It's like a camp, and it was like youth kids was there. It was a camp there, and this is Kyle Lindsey first year at Lures. So I can't remember verbatim how me and him even started like talking at the camp, but what I can remember was I started like helping out at this camp. Like, now I don't know none of these people, but I'm just helping the system because there was so many kids. This was like Kyle's first year getting a job there. They had just won, the fourth straight, state title in a row. So it was packed. And I remember us having me and him, we having a conversation, and I was just like, either he asked me if I wanted to help out, or I asked him could I help out. But he was like, sure, like let's do it. And he gave me the role of, I was like an assistant to an assistant, bro. Like I didn't even really have a role. Like when it was offensive time, I go help out with running backs. When it was defensive time, I go help out with D line. But I was like a GA. You know what I mean? Like if they told me to go get the donuts, I was gonna go get the donuts. If they told me, hey, on our meeting on Saturday, go pick up that coffee, I'll go pick up that coffee. It was, and I was just coaching because I missed the game. I wanted to be around it, but I didn't really wasn't taking it really serious until that season when we had a really really bad season, and I felt bad for him because he was stepping into something that his dad had built that was like state known, like you know what I mean. And I'm hearing people like saying, stuff like maybe he shouldn't have got the job. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't hear too many people like having his back. So I knew like I wanted to give more to him because when I was a kid, I used to go to the Lures games and I used to watch Kyle Lindsey play quarterback and throw touchdown passes, to great players, and they was good. And my cousin Cam Johnson played with him. So I'm like, I grew up watching this dude play high school. Now I'm coaching with him, and he has one bad season, and this is his first year being a head coach.
Right.
I felt like, man, I just want to help this dude because so many people were, just talking crazy, about him and just saying a lot of negative things, and that's what comes with coaching because of, what the record was year one.
For sure, for sure. So this is your introduction to coaching.
Yeah.
So you stay at Lures. How long are you at Lures, and then where do you end up after that?
So I stayed at Lewis for a total of 3 years, man. And in my second year there, I became like the running back coach, and it was like now I got my own position group. So
Right.
I felt empowered a little bit, and going to year 3, it was the same situation. And now I'm getting phone calls, from other places, other schools. And I got one from Derek Moore, and shout out to D Moore. He hit me up and he was just like, hey, I want you to come over here. That Wayne, he been talking to me for like the last 2 years about coming over there, but I didn't want to at first. And then that latest phone call, he offered me to come over there and be the offensive coordinator. So I'm like, whoa. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, you trust me to come over there, and so it was a tug of war with me, man, because I'm a very loyal guy, and I wanted to help Coach Lindsey win his first state championship, like, so, but I knew this opportunity came, and I'm like, and I called Coach up, and I was like, hey, can we meet at Wings, etc.? He's like, yeah, sure. And we go, me and Coach Lindsey, we sitting up, at Wings, etc. We eating the chicken wings, and I told him about this opportunity. And that man looked me in my face and was like, I believe you should take it. I think it's a great opportunity for you. I believe you should take it. And so I took it, and I ended up going to Wayne.
That's good. That's
It
good.
was my alma mater, so it was like one of them fruition things. Like, man, now I'm back coaching, at the school that I love in high school and trying to help them and help Coach Moore.
I hear that. That's a good story. And then we go from Wayne, and then we transition into where you are now. Yeah. Talk about your transition over here to Northside.
Okay, so I did it 3 years at Wayne. I was an offensive coordinator. I ended up taking a year off of coaching. I was just kind of like, I'm cool. I felt like what I was trying to give, it couldn't be done because I wasn't in a position to really make things happen. For sure. And that was my frustration because I really want to make an impact. So I took a year off, and a guy that I coached with at Wayne, my first year at Wayne, his name was Mike Bavar. He had this job here at Northside, and I'm like, he called me up. He's like, look, man, I need you to come out of retirement. And I'm like, I'm like, you sure? He was like, yeah, man, I need you, come over here with me and help me. And if I was gonna ever coach high school football ever again, it was gonna be for him.
Right.
Because, we thought alike, and he was young, looked like me, and I knew he needed some really good help because I wanted to help him be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like, it was my friend too. So I'm like, that's what people should do. When you love somebody and you close when you're friends with them,
For sure.
they doing something that's positive, you should want to help them. So I got back in, man. And at this time, like COVID is going on. So I come in, this is like July, and, get here, and they had talent, man. Deuce Taylor, Hassan Lambers, just, Ariana McCarter just had dudes. And I was excited that first year. We breaking records. Our offense, we averaging like 48 points a game, man. Like we are lighting the scoreboard up, and we just having fun balling. And, adversity comes again. And now, mind you, I done got out of retirement, my little short stint of retirement. In week 8, Mike sits me down and he's like, look, man, whatever happens at the end of this year, I'm done, I'm gone. And I'm like, what? Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you done got me,
You done broke me out of
this is
retirement.
good. You, like, bro, like, I'm having fun. Right. Like, this is the most fun I ever had as a coach. And all I'm thinking about is how we can make an impact in this community, and you can be the guy.
For sure.
And like, dog, I got your back. Like, I'm willing to do whatever. Like, you can get all the shine. I'm willing to be behind the scenes. Like, I was cool with being a number 2 or number 3, whatever number you wanted to give me, because he was a good dude, and he really was trying to make an impact on these kids and get them to the next level. Like, it was just, our philosophies just aligned. So now that he want to quit, in my mind, I'm like, man, where I'm going to go? Like, I ain't going to be, they ain't going to get a job to me.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got the credentials to be a head coach, So I'm like, it don't even make sense. He like, look, man, I'm going back to school. I'm getting my master's. I'm going to go coach college football. I got to do this for my family. So I'm like, wow, I'm like, you really going to do this? So he leaves. And we were like this close from winning a sectional championship. I'll never forget it. And I'm thinking, okay, he gonna stay. Nah, he put that resignation in. And I was a little upset with him because I'm just like, bro, like, this dude, we on the phone every day, talking about how we gonna build this thing together, and it was all coming together.
Right.
And even though that senior class was leaving, we had a really good freshman class that was here, and I'm just like, they was like the foundation that kind of kept like the success going, So yeah, that was my first year, man, and when he decided to be done, it was devastating for me because I didn't know what my next move was gonna be.
Right. So he leaves, and you're trying to figure out what's next. At what point in time do you have kind of that moment where you like, man, forget it. I'm going for the head job. I'm gonna put in for the job.
So let me take a step back and rewind a little bit because I had, when Wayne was open, DeMore decided to be done. When Wayne was open, I went after that job.
Right.
Okay. And when I went after it, I was a finalist for it. Like, I'm talking about I went all in, like, to try to get Wayne. And they didn't give it to me, and they hired, one of Indiana Hall of Famer legend and Coach Haydock. And, I was a little devastated at first, but I was just like, he had the experience, so I understand like why they gave it to. So in my mind, I'm like, if I can't get the school that I played for, and I coached there, like I can't get a job in Fort Wayne because there's certain schools where I'm just like, they'll never look at me. But it was, being a head coach was never really even a goal. It was just an opportunity. I was just like, I'm gonna just put my name in there. I'm gonna just see what happens. To answer your question, when Mike left, we had a meeting with our principal, Mr. West, He called in all the coaches, and I remember we sit in the room, and he was like, "Hey, who all in here want to be, the head coach?" So me and another coach, we raised our hands and put our hands down. So he's giving off this long list of like what he looking for. And like, I was not on that list. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, well.
That eliminates me.
Well, you know what I mean? So I'm walking out this meeting, and I'm just like, dang. When Larry Davis, I never forget it. He walked up on my car and said, "Man, what you gonna do?" I was like, "Nothing." You heard what that man just said? That man just said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm not 1, 2, 3.
Right.
And he like, "Listen, man, I believe in you. You should apply. Because what if you do get it?" And I didn't want to go through that again. That process, don't get it, being disappointed. I had called my mentor, Larry White. He was on me about going after again, talk to Toya. She told me,
Yeah, shout out to White.
What I'm saying? What's for you is for you, And then, one of my best friends, Oki, was just like, bro, like, what's for you was for you. That's what he was on too. So, and Jalen was telling me go after it. So, but Larry's conversation with me was like, okay, we'll see what happens. As the process is going on, I'm like, I get a call from the AD like, hey, because mind you, I was an interim that year. I'm gonna just talk about that. Mike had got like COVID like through his son or something like that, and he was like, hey, I'm gonna put you in charge. Now I'm shocked because I'm the new coach. So now you put me in charge, we gotta play Concordia. So in my mind, I'm like, we cannot lose this game. Or just don't get blown out.
Right, for
sure.
You
know what I'm saying? I'm like, if we don't get blown out, okay, that's cool. And we went in that game, man, and we beat Concordia. And bro, like, that was like the first time Northside beat Concordia in like 8 or 9 years. So it was a big win for our program.
It's a defining moment for you.
Yeah, so now I'm at the crib. I done took a shower, I'm laying down in bed like, oh, like I'm 1-0 as a head coach. Like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really just happened. And we won in overtime, went for the 2, got it. It was like one of them moments.
I remember
like,
that game.
Bro, I turn around 2 fists in the air. I'm like, thank you, God. Like, I just couldn't believe it happened. You know what I mean? Like, Coach Manigault was a great coach at Concordia, man. And they had great players over there. They had a good team that year. When we won that game, it was one of them things where I was just like, it was shocking, So they called me, man, and like, hey, we're going through this process. We didn't see your application. Because again, I'm still got self-doubt, man. I'm just being real. I just had self-doubt. So I applied, man, and, I got the interview. And when I got the interview, after the interview, you ever had interviews where you felt like, man, I killed that interview?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The Wayne job, I felt like that 5,000%. That interview, I was just like, I just felt like they just interviewed me just to interview
Just
me.
because you was on
like it was, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well,
like, man, we just got to give him a
let
shot.
Me see, I might call, because I was thinking about maybe going to Northrop or something. Because I wanted a challenge. Like I never was a dude that wanted to go somewhere where a legacy was already established. Like I wanted to go somewhere to make a real impact where most people like frown their nose upon, you know?
For sure.
So that Monday called me. Mr. Klein called me and was like, hey, we want to bring you in. We want to have a conversation with you. Are you available anytime soon? I'm like, yeah, I'm available. But I'm like, man, they about to have me come all the way over there just to tell me
I ain't get it.
To my face. They gonna tell it to me to my face. You know what I mean? So I'm like, no. So, man, I'm like, I don't know what to wear. I'm at the crib. I don't know what to wear. Shit out there. And man, when I walked in, I walked in here and he's like, hey, we're gonna go to Mr. West's office. And I'm like, I think I done got in trouble.
Right.
I'm still an employee here,
For sure.
know. So I'm thinking I done got in trouble. So I sit down and Mr. West shook my hand and he put the contract in my face and he was like, congratulations. And man, like when he said that, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. Man, I started crying. Cause I was just like, I couldn't believe it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like something, I never thought I'd be no head football coach, man. Like I wanted to be a probation officer. Then I wanted to be a police officer. Then I just wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like I just wanted to do that, you know? But like, I'm like, what? Like me? At the time, I'm like 29 years old. Like I'm just like, this is unreal. And he was like, yeah, man, I believe in you. Like when that man looked me in my face and was like, he believed in me and will I accept? I'm like, what? I'm like, of course. And I signed that there quickly and he, gave me the rundown of when I could start and, I couldn't tell nobody for like 6 weeks. Man, that was hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I got to get coaches. Like I got to, because a lot of our assistants was leaving because they didn't know who the next head coach was going to be and they wanted jobs. You know what I'm saying? So
That's crazy. Just listening to your journey this far is a couple of defining moments. Like the car ride, your brother pushing you like, hey man, you got to take me to practice. I need you to take me to practice. Yeah. Like if you never give him that car ride, maybe you never end up at Lures. You know what I'm saying? And then with Coach Brevard calling and saying, man, I need you to come out of retirement. Yeah. And then the game, he gets COVID, puts you in the lead seat. You know what I mean? Those are some defining moments. But going back to your childhood, you said something to me about how you were a quarterback and you said, man, I was like a coach on the field. Yeah. And then transitioning into 8th or 7th grade, right? We have some adversity with the Super Bowl and Metro, right? And then we're self-reflecting again in the 8th grade when you have to switch positions. How do you take all of those moments and then apply that to where you are that moment, looking at that paper, like, man, I'm a head coach?
It's a saying I say to our kids here, man, you gotta adapt and overcome. And because life ain't gonna always go the exact way you want it to go. Sure. It don't always happen. Like sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't, right? So when life throws you that curveball, man, like what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So it's more so for me was I never let something stop me. And I always believe in, work. The work gonna always pay off. So even though like going through, different adversities as a child, and because I shared this with you off the camera, like I was getting took out of games because I was slow at quarterback, and I didn't like that. But instead of being upset and being like, this coach don't like me, taking me out of games,
for sure.
It's how do I get better at the things I do well at so he can keep me in games so he don't got to take me out. You know what I'm saying?
Right, for sure.
Or like if Coach Lindsey telling me you're the running back coach, man, I'm going to be the best running back coach you ever had. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to serve those kids and I'm going to serve you and show you so much value that if you're ever even thinking about making changes, I'm not the first person on your mind to make a change. You know what I'm saying? Or, like with Coach Moore, man, I gave that man everything because I wanted him to do so well that other athletic directors would have to say, we got to hire somebody that's like him.
Absolutely.
Because he's having success. And he was able to win like Coach of the Year, you know what I mean? The same year right after I left, he was able to win Coach of the Year. So I was happy for him because he deserved it. So that was just always been my thing is just like, in order to be successful, obviously, you got to work even when you don't know, when that harvest is going to come. You got to keep putting that seed in the ground and keep watering it and not worrying about, am I going to get it tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? So in that moment of me signing that paper, I just was thinking about all the work I had done because even though this man said this is what he was looking for, 1 through 10, I just think they did their due diligence and learning more about who I was and called this person, that person, and maybe the impression I gave on them while I was an assistant for that 1 year under Mike, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, it had to have been something for them to trust me at that age and not having a bunch of credentials behind my name.
So we the head coach now, and you talked about you and Brevard shared the same philosophy as coaches.
Yeah.
So coming in here, making this your own situation, what is your philosophy to the team, being a new head coach, and how are you communicating that to the kids?
My whole reasoning of getting into coaching was I wanted to be the coach that I never had. And what I meant by that, and that's no jabs at any coach I've ever had, because I had some really, really great high school coaches, metro coaches, all of that. But when I was in high school, I felt like, and maybe the times are different now, but I just felt like more could have been done to get the talent more opportunities. And that's me. That's just what I'm big on. Like, I'm trying to give these kids opportunities. When they step foot through this door, that they know my senior year, I'm either going to go to trade school, I'm going to go to college. I got a plan when I leave here. And not just like you're just a walking zombie because you don't even know what you're going to do. So my whole thing was, man, I'm trying to get these kids to the next level. Like, obviously I want to win every game, but that's almost impossible to do, in high school sports. And it was just, okay, I'm at a program, it has rich tradition, but it's been a long time.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing was, how can I get this program to where when that parent and that kid is talking about what high school they want to go to, they say they at least mention Northside. Mm-hmm. That was my whole prerogative. So I knew, like, okay, what can I do? Well, I got to build relationships with the kids that's already at the school. I got to serve them. I got to be more than just a coach to them. I got to help them make it to the next level because word travels. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Parents talk to each other, stuff like that. Then I was using the tools of like social media. So I'm trying to put out every single positive thing that you could possibly think of. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because no one ever used that method before.
Right.
But like I said, I'm one of them dudes that it was just like, as I'm thinking of how can I build something, how can I put attention on these boys that's on East State Boulevard and not at other places that's deservingly so because of traditions and, success. What can I do? So came up with a plan with that staff. And, we just was executing it, man. And we went in like, hey, we're going to push these kids to college. We're going to, if some of them not college ready and they want to, jump into a trade school or they want to go to the military, we're going to make sure that, we hook them up and, get them where they need to be.
For sure. So listening to your philosophy and you wanting to lead this next generation of young men from East State Boulevard into a better place in life, how do you think football helps prepare young men for life after whatever sport it is that they play, or football, for example?
I think football is the ultimate team game to prepare you for life, man, because, we're trying to grow these young men into men, like help them transition into manhood. And in the game of football, man, it's so detailed. Every position matters. So, if you ever watch a documentary, you always hear me say, master your role, master your role, master your role. Because if you don't master your role in the game of football, 11 guys out there at one time. If one guy is off, we'll lose that play.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to teach the kids is, man, you don't have to be a star on a team in order to be successful. You don't gotta, because you probably want to be the star on your job. Right. You know what I'm saying? The star on your job is the CEO,
and
the person that's running the company.
Yep, he's gonna get
all the credit. But if you master your role, guess what? Your job stays open. That plant don't close. You getting paid. your CEO should be able to recognize the type of work that you're putting in because you're mastering your role at your job. Now you're getting raises on your job. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it teaches the kids sacrifice, hard work. Because if you don't work hard, you won't have. Man, if you just, it's funny, because football is really 365 days around. If you don't put in that work, football is gonna let you know if you haven't put in that work because it's a very physical sport. Like you can't just not hit weights. You cannot just condition and think you're gonna go out there on Friday nights and dominate because it don't work like that.
I got you. So what is the all-term or the long-term vision overall for this program?
The long term vision is, winning championships. I think, the work that, our staff has put in, our administration here is awesome. Like they see the vision, they behind us 100%. The changes that Fort Wayne Community Schools is making to our facilities is all in alignment and it's happening at every school.
Right.
That, the success that people want to see or the kids want to feel or experience is coming. But we already hitting our main goals. And that's in my 4-year span here, we done sent so many kids to college, man, and military. It's the numbers is really like unheard of. Like I don't really put it out there like that because I don't want it to be like we're bragging or we're boasting. But it's more so I just want people to know.
Right, for sure.
Because I'm just like, if you don't have the information, you just think nothing is happening.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, when I have a kid that goes off to the military and he's coming from a home where it just wasn't that stable and now he has stability and now he's calling me like, Coach, thank you for recommending this for me. That makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? When you could send a kid off to school and he's at school now and, you got NIL and all that and, they're getting, finances while they're in school to play the game that they love. An era I wish that all that was possible. And, when I was playing, like, makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? So it's to continue to do what we do, continue to raise the standards. Having kids that's not only getting athletic scholarships, but academic scholarships. This is my first year where we had, 4 or 5 kids over a 4.0 GPA. Like, so that's getting how we want it to be. It's an amazing feeling.
Good, good. You have a unique opportunity and it's presented to you, and we've watched how social media has changed the narrative of sports overall. And there's a documentary that's done over here called The New North. Talk about the impact that that's had on your program.
Oh, man, it had a tremendous impact. Before we even did it, I talked to this guy named Quail, and man, like he was the person that was like always like, man, I love what you're doing.
He's visionary.
Man,
He is a visionary.
Like,
shout out to Quill Muhammad.
Man, he is like on me tough, like, dude, like people need to see like what you're doing.
Right.
And Coach Prime was at Jackson State and recording everything and putting it out. So his whole vision was like, man, we can do that at Northside. And I'm like, really? Now, mind you, this after our first year, we wasn't that good. It's COVID. We lost a couple of nail biters. It was like 2-7. So I'm like going into that following year. I'm like, man, you really want to, I don't
like you want to shoot us?
like, man. But it's crazy when you believe, but outside people believe in what you're doing, and because, like I said, I was kind of blown away that he wanted to and his team wanted to do that. So once we was able to do it and people were able to see, like, oh man, like I like what they doing over there.
Sure.
Like I like the kids over there. Or I like the program or the structure. And man, like, so I think it just opened up a lot of people's eyes because you're only used to like the big four in the city.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, like I said, I think the documentary helped show, everything when it comes to a football program. The blood, sweat, the tears, the hard work, the dedication that it takes, the sacrificing that it takes, even the disagreements.
For sure.
Some negative things, but all the things was really positive. That's even though they were negative, it's still positive.
Mm-hmm. I think it gave like a real introspective look in terms of how you guys have helped grow these kids over here in the transition. I think a lot of people don't understand like the tough conversations and the love that you develop and dealing with these kids on a day-to-day basis. So I thought the documentary really highlighted that. So in terms of social media, right, it's drastically changed how we view sports. How do you think it's impacted sports from a positive impact and a negative impact?
Positively, I would say, um, like a city like Fort Wayne, even though like we're like the second biggest city in the state of Indiana, we're still small. So all the resources, it's not that many resources here. We have resources, but it's just not as big as the bigger cities. So with social media is so strong that it can reach people from everywhere.
For sure.
So if you can study and understand it, you can start gaining traction from it. You know what I'm saying? So with the power of social media, like I said, I was just like, I'm gonna market this thing like it's the best school in the state of Indiana because that's how I truly feel.
Right.
So I'm just like, every day you wake up, you probably gonna see something about Northside football, whether it's academic success in the classroom, what we're doing in the community, a practice, lifting, all of that stuff. Because I just believe, having a strong social media presence, you know, coaches are on, social media. So I'm posting highlight tapes, I'm posting
Right.
clips of the kids because I'm trying to, get them attention, the attention that they need and the attention that they deserve. And because of social media, we're able to do that. So if you're not utilizing that, you're not doing it right, in my opinion.
Right. So, and obviously there's a flip side to that. So like after bad games or whatever, and then you read all of, because the kids are head over heels in this social media space. How are you helping control what the kids are reading from the negative side? Because after, you had Tay over here. You know what I mean? Shout out to Tay. Who's at Notre Dame playing right now. Like a kid like that who's a star has a bad game and then he goes and he's on Twitter and he reads all of these negative posts about him. How are you helping navigate that portion of social media with your team?
Man, that's a great question, man. Because before social media, all you heard the negative stuff at the game.
Right.
While the game is going. The people in the crowd.
Right.
You hear it all. You know what I'm saying? When you walking up the tunnel and it's, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? So, or it's the text messages. Now, people can just pick up their phone.
Yep.
And press record and upload it. Yep. Or they can just type whatever and just send it. The pages can be fake. They can just hide behind, and it happens on every level. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always telling the kids, like, please, 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 please. Read it, but don't let it marinate if you're going to read it. Because if I tell them don't get on social media, that's impossible.
They're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people use social media to get in teams' heads.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when a big game is coming up, man, what the kids call it trolling, it's a lot of trolling going on.
Right.
So it's a lot of trash talking going on. It's a lot of, you're not that good, you suck. So they get in your head. You didn't have 100 yards last game. Right. So now you feeling that pressure that I got to have a good game this Friday because the people on social media ain't showing me love. They just talking crazy to me. But it's like I'm always constantly reminding the kids, man, that social media ain't real. It's just not a real place.
And And I don't know if our children have fully grasped that yet because they spend so much time in that world.
Yeah.
That they don't understand. Sometimes some of these people that are typing this stuff about y'all, they have never even come to a game or even watched a game.
They never came to a game. All they saw was a result.
Yep.
And whatever that result was, we're just gonna make a crazy narrative and try to, destroy whatever they got going on because a lot of these kids believe what they see on social
For
media.
sure.
And the crazy thing is some of these adults even believe sometimes
sure.
without just really like thinking all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy at the times that we live in now because you can even see professional athletes clapping back, on
Absolutely.
Twitter, to
For sure.
some of the disrespectful things that's being said about them, man. But when you signed up to play this game and people pay their money and they watch it or whatever, now with social media, everybody got an opinion. So I'm telling them, like, hey, this is what comes with it. If you don't like scrutiny, even for myself, like if I don't like scrutiny, if I don't like criticism, I can't be a coach. So I gotta always remind myself like why I'm playing. So I tell our kids, y'all gotta remind yourself like why are you playing? What's your why? Because your why should be able to elevate you past all that, the stuff that you don't like.
Yep. And then with the power of social media, obviously you guys have the documentary out, and then you talked about earlier. That was the very first thing you did because you wanted people to get a glimpse of who you were as a coach.
Yeah.
Do you want that narrative in a positive light to also reflect when kids are looking like, hey man, I want to go to Northside.
Yeah.
That's the school I want to be at.
For sure. Oh, absolutely, man. Because for me, I know what I'm putting into this. I know what our coaching staff is putting into this. I know what our teachers is putting into this at this school. I know what our administration is putting into this. And to me, it's just a perfect fit because my goal and your goal is going to align. So when you walk in here and you tell me, hey, coach, these are my goals, I'm going to say, okay, bet, this is what you need to do. And as long as you do that, I'm going to do this, and we're going to reach your goal. And I'm going to hold you accountable to that. I'm going to hold you accountable to what you told me because you're 14, 15 years old. You're going to backslide. You're going to backslide a few times.
Absolutely.
A few times more than that. But I'm going to hold you accountable to it. And I'm one of them people that's like, I'm going to be honest with kids. We don't do the politic thing here. And sometimes honesty can hurt, But I'm going to always just tell them the truth, and, because a lot of kids now, man, it ain't just ours, but all around this city, man, they got lofty, lofty goals. You know what I mean? It's a D1 or bust era that we live in right now. And, I hate to pop that bubble or pop that balloon, but all y'all can't go.
Everybody can't go.
You know what I'm saying? And all y'all don't got that same work ethic as them Texas and them Florida kids.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And more kids would go if that work ethic was there. But it's just not. And I'm just a firm believer in it. Like sometimes you just gotta tell people the truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, and I want to talk about the recruiting space too, but going through the recruiting space and then being able to hold kids accountable at a young age and then be truthful with them about what their perspective level is, I think that goes a long way. And sometimes it's taken out of context when you give someone the truth, because it could come off as what we call, oh, he's just hating, or coach is hating on this kid, or coach ain't looking out for this kid.
Or he don't like me.
Or he don't like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not always the telltale story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like sometimes I'm just telling you, this is the level for you. You know what I mean? Because everybody can't play at your Alabamas and your Ohio States. Everybody can't go there. Everybody can't go there. So talk about how social media has impacted recruiting. Obviously, you've had some big-time recruits come from here. You have a young man over here right now who's a blooming star. So talk about that a little bit.
So, like I said, like that first year here as an OC, Deuce Taylor is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen out of Fort Wayne. And
Shout out to my godson Deuce.
yeah, man, he was a very special talent. So when you got a talent like him, so now you got coaches calling
Right,
and
for sure.
check in and seeing film. This is what we like about him. So now, because Mike used to let me do a lot of things. He allowed me to do a lot of things and experience a lot of things. So I was able to, talk to coaches on behalf of Deuce. So that was like my first year, like doing it. And then going into that following year, we had, Tay Tay and Jordan King is like coming up. So now calling them and talking to them, so I'm like, okay, this is opportunity to build relationships. So I looked at it like, okay, how can I serve these coaches? So when I'm talking to these coaches, man, I'm getting to know them. I'm on the phone with them for an hour, hour and a half. They opening up to me. And now I'm asking questions like, hey, what exactly are you looking for?
Yep.
Tell me. Is it measurables? Is it grades? What is it? Because I want to be able to tell my kids, because I got so many kids, they want to go D1, they swear they want to go D1, right? And they're telling me like all these things like, hey, at this position, he got to be at this height, this weight, run this fast, right? Grades got to be this. Cool. Appreciate you. Film got to look like this. Show me a guy that you offered. Send me his tape, right? They will send me the tape. And I'm sitting there looking at the tape like, ooh, wee. Like, the tape is different than the kids. You know what I'm saying? So I understood like why he takes this kid out of Kansas or out of Arkansas instead of my kid that's in Fort Wayne. So these coaches are I asked them like, man, get real transparent with me. Like, I got this kid, he had 100 tackles. Tell me why you won't look at him. Send me the film of the kids that you decided to take over my kid that I think is a dog. And they will do that for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of them things where, man, I work so hard in emailing coaches, texting coaches, calling them, and I was able to get that boost. And it wasn't, and it really because I lucked up. Because like I told you, I begged Coach Brevard to stay.
Right.
Because I knew we had the talent coming in, and I knew it was coming. And I knew it was going to be a great wave. And so I was blessed to be able to walk into having talent to where the Division I coaches is calling, and now I'm able to learn from them.
Absolutely.
So I can keep it going because them ain't gonna be the only D1 Division II players that come through here. You know what I'm saying? So when I get that freshman or that sophomore that's here, and that's their goal, I'm able to have that transparent conversation with them on this what it has to look like, son. Like, I know you might not like running track, but you need to run track in order to get faster because this coach said they want to see you run track and they want to see this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to go to Notre Dame and play running back at Notre Dame? Well, guess what? Their starter ran a 10.4 in high school. The backup ran a 10.65. He this tall and he weighs this much. Now look at yourself.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want to do, you got to get there.
Got to get there.
You know what I'm saying? So now I think it takes the pressure off me because it's, and I know we kind of getting off track a little bit, but it takes the pressure off me because the kids believe if they have a great game, that's the level that they should go on. Like they believe that if they're Fort Wayne good, if they're Fort Wayne great, that means I should be a great Division I player. It don't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Nope. And we spoke about something off camera, an analogy that you give to parents. I want you to tap back into that because I don't think a lot of people understand that you could have a great season, a great career here in the state, but you're really competing nationally without actually going to play a nationally ranked schedule because the coaches are not only recruiting your area and your city and your state. These dudes are traveling around the world to find the best of the best. So you had gave me an analogy. I want you to share that with the people.
Okay, so give me a school.
Let's take Michigan.
Michigan, okay. So if I'm Michigan's, give me a position.
DN.
Okay. If I'm Michigan's defensive line coach, right? Now, this is real. Michigan is a public university, so anybody can look this up. Their D-line coach probably makes $500,000, $600,000 a year. That's some great money, ain't it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So he's at Michigan. It's a high expectation at Michigan. You got to beat Ohio State. You got to win national championships.
Yep.
And I don't really like that you picked Michigan because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I'm gonna still ride with this. So shout out to the Wolverines though, Coach doing a great job up there. But yeah, so if I'm the D-line coach there, right? The head coach is telling me like, listen, you can recruit 3 guys to come here. Any guys you want in the country, you can stamp them, right? Now, we at Michigan, I could go jump on a private plane to go recruit anybody.
Absolutely.
So I would tell to a parent, if I'm a coach, I'm making $500,000, $600,000 a year. My job is on the line when you're a college coach.
Yep.
Because people ask me, like, do you want to coach college? Like, man, I don't know if I'm built for it tough like that.
Right.
To know that I could be moving every single year because coaches are shuffling. But to answer your question is, if I'm making $500,000, $600,000, right, and I get to choose 3 guys, the entire country, we're talking California, I can go to Hawaii, I can go to the state of Washington, I can go to Florida, Miami, I can go to Georgia, Atlanta, get kids, Texas, where we all know that's the best high school. That's unanimously the best high school football in the United States is in Texas. What would make me say your son is good enough to earn one of the 3 scholarships to come here? And that's a hard question to ask because parents all believe that their babies is a star, as you should. But the real reality is sometimes your kid got to have God-given. That means measurables and God-given like athleticism.
Absolutely.
If they don't have it, I can't waste a scholarship on him because I don't want to go home and tell my wife and kids like, hey, Coach Moore at Michigan fired me, man. I don't know what we're going to do. I got to get on the phone. And they might love it in Ann Arbor. You know what I'm saying? Now we in. Yeah. Now we got to move to Utah. Or now we got to move because I got to get another job. And most coaches that make $500,000, $600,000, they done been at the bottom of the totem pole. They done been GAs making no money. They done been at D3 NAIA schools making $10,000, $20,000 stipends.
Yeah.
And recruiting, coaching. So once you make it to that level, man, you don't never want to mess it up.
Oh, absolutely.
You want the best of the best because, man, that money is life-changing money. You want to keep getting it.
Or I want to go to the next tier.
Absolutely. So it's one of them things where, and I also tell parents too, like, look, go to the practice of whatever school that your son say he wants to go to, right? And when you go to the practice, go stand by that position group and look how they look. You know what I'm saying? Look how fast they is, look how big and strong they is, and then look at your son.
Yeah.
And that'll tell you, like, if my son could play here or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What type of work we need to be doing.
Yeah, so you don't got to believe me. You don't got to believe me. You don't got to believe the trainer. You don't got to believe the mentor, the uncle, no nothing. Go straight to the source.
Yeah.
And the source will tell you what it looks like, man. And it's hard. It's hard because you can be the best player at your school, one of the best players in your state, and you go to one of them big schools, and now you're on the bench. You've been the man your whole life, and now you're getting humbled because everybody's just as good as you. Everybody got God-given. Everybody tall, 6'4", 6'5", 200 pounds. Everybody can run like Seabiscuit. You know what I'm saying? So how do you navigate yourself through that to overcome?
Right.
That.
What you gonna do to separate yourself from the pack? Yeah. And then another thing which helps us pivot a little bit is this transfer portal. So they also working against the transfer portal.
Yeah.
People are either transferring down, they're making lateral moves. But talk about how college has also been impacted by the transfer portal. And this is not only in football, this is also in basketball too.
So what the transfer portal has done is it has created a lot of chaos, but it has created the most ultimate balance we have never seen ever. And I think there's rules that needs to be put in place. Me personally, I do believe that. And because I'm always thinking about the kid first. So some people might be watching this and be like, man, kids should be able to transfer whenever they want to. So there's a negative side to it because when you're gonna send your son, your kid to college, ultimately what do you want to happen? You want them to graduate, right?
Graduate, yep.
Okay. So imagine your son or daughter is upset every 6 months because of their role at their school. So now they're transferring. Are the credits transferring? Do this new school got your major that you've been working on?
Yep.
Or so we gonna go to 5 or 6 different schools in 5 or 6 different years, and we ain't got no degree because all we've been thinking about is playing.
We ain't earned not one degree.
Yeah, so before when it was just one time, free one time, and then when you graduate, you can transfer. I like that because it was just kind of like everybody can't go pro in every sport. It only got nothing to do with just football, basketball, soccer. Everybody can't go pro. It's impossible, right? But man, like while you there getting that free education and at most places you're getting paid now, man, get that degree because it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yep. Yep. I also don't think some people, I was talking to a college coach the other day, some people don't understand that some schools won't take you as a transfer, especially in like if you're going into your 4th year and you haven't graduated, because they don't want to diminish the value that their degree at their school has. So I don't know.
deep.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They like, man, look, he either needs to graduate at the school he's at, and then we would look at taking him, or he needs to come. He should have came here when he was a freshman or a sophomore. So that's another part of that portal piece that people don't really look at.
Yeah, and like the big schools, they can't dominate like they used to.
For sure.
Because your Georgias, your Bamas, your LSUs, they was able to have five guys that was first round picks in the same running back room or the same linebacker room or the same DB room. Now these kids is like, hold on. Because the league don't care where you go. They're gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? It was a dude that went to Toledo last year. He's top 10 pick. You know what I'm saying? At corner. And he went to Toledo.
Right.
Which is in the MAC. And that's no shade to the MAC, but it's just before you used to think that you had to go to a really high level school to even to go to the NFL. That's not true no more. An offensive lineman out of Findlay, that's a Division II school. I think he either went 2nd round or 3rd round at a D2 school. So it really don't matter now. And these kids are noticing that because you see it. You see it happening.
Right.
So it's like.
That's the power of social media, because some of this information has always been there, but we weren't privy to it because it run right in our face.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of these kids are making strong social media presences with Twitter and TikTok and all of that stuff and getting themselves out there. A lot of these head coaches at these schools, they have a room with recruiting personnel in there. And that's all they do is watch tape, look at social media profiles and see what this kid is, because they're trying to get to know the kid. Because they want to bring in good kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's a wild time that we're living in now with college. There's really no rules with the transfer portal right now. So everybody is just, a lot of people are using and abusing it, and a lot of people don't even talk about all the kids that's in there that don't find a home. Because it's a lot, man. It's a lot of kids that just jump in there and they don't got nowhere to go, and now you just left your scholarship situation because you thought you had a better opportunity somewhere.
Right. Yeah. And that brings me into a bit of information that you put me up on that I didn't know.
Yeah.
and there's a new rule coming, and I don't know if it's in place or it's going to be in place about transferring in high school. Talk to me about that.
There's a new rule that's coming down the pipeline, and it's supposed to be sticking sometime this year. I want to say either like March or April. Obviously got to get voted on, but when stuff like that comes out, it always comes to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So, what's about to happen is people are going to be able to transfer one time and can't be blocked for high school for the whole state of Indiana. So that's going to be wild, man, because you got to think now that's going to always be in the back of a kid's mind.
Right.
Is if I'm not getting my way, I can transfer. If anything, if I don't like the situation, let me go over here. Or if I feel like the grass is greener over there, let me go over there. So that's going to be a little wild.
Yeah, that's game changing.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a two-part question. So with that rule, when that rule comes into effect, do you think that will take away from being able to motivate a kid that's already in the program?
Yes and no, because the ones that's motivated are gonna do what they're supposed to do. The ones that's like teeter-tottering,
Right.
I think, you know what I'm saying? But like for me, my philosophy is different. Like whether you want me to be your coach or not, it's cool with me. Kids have transferred, out of here before, and it could be situations where they moved and there's no way they can drive all the way, north side, or just situations where they just need a new environment, and I support that. You know what I'm saying? So it's because my philosophy is who's ever in this locker room, who's ever put that red helmet on, we're going to serve them. We're going to do everything that we possibly can to get that kid to the next level, whatever that looks like. But I think if you're just a coach and you're just wrapped up in winning championships and that's all that matters to you, you're going to have a tough time with this new thing that's coming out. Like, but if it's just solely about the kids, which the youth sports realm and all of that, it's kind of getting away from. But if you are a coach that's really about the kids, it shouldn't bother you, because at the end of the day, these parents are gonna do what they feel like is the best interest, for their kids. And who am I to say that it's not? Right. All I can do is give you the information, and you can either believe it or you don't believe it, and you're gonna make that decision.
Yep. And then the second part to that question is transfer portal at the college level, and then obviously when this rule comes down the pipeline in high school, do you think that takes away from kids learning to deal with adversity and some of that accountability that we talked about?
Yeah, I think that's a piece that's hurting in college is, a lot of coaches got to switch up the way they coach and their approach to kids. The years of being able to yell and scream and spitting a kid's face on accident and all that is done.
Right.
Like that kid's out of there. You know what I'm saying? And at the collegiate level, I understand, because most coaches there, again, they want to keep that money.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like you have to win. So that's why it's affecting them so much. That's why there's great coaches that's been coaching that's getting out the game, because they're not going to be able to dominate the way that they want to, because it's literally has taken all the leverage away from the coach, and it is given to the kid now. So I would say, because kids have to go through adversity, because adversity, if you're getting it as a young kid, when it happens when you're adult life, because we're all going to be adults longer than we're going to be kids.
For sure.
You're going to be able to handle it a lot better. But I think now parents these days, and even me too as well, I got kids of my own, we grow up and we say, I don't want my kid to go through what I went through.
For sure.
I want better for my son or for my daughter. But you got to realize as an adult, what you went through when your mama made you walk somewhere or made you ride your bike somewhere or made you go out there and shovel that snow, or made the daughter, wash the walls, and the baseboards. You was teaching character. You know what I'm saying? And when when your mama and your daddy didn't let you get your way, and you said to yourself, well, when I get kids, I'm gonna let my son or daughter do this and that.
Right.
But those principles allow you to be who you are today.
For sure.
So to me, if you just give to a kid, and they whole life just been peaches and cream, and they don't go through nothing. Like, what parent wants an adult that has to depend on them when hardship comes so much?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. As you have a kid, your kid go through something as an adult, you're gonna be there for them. But for everything,
Right. For sure.
you know what I'm saying? You want them to be able to be equipped to be able to handle some kind of adversity when they're adults. So to me, I think that it takes that piece of, adversity away that I think that all kids should experience some form of it.
Right. And it goes back to why we originally put kids in sports anyway, so that they can learn some of these social skills and experience some things that can help contribute to them as an adult. So if we let them run from any bit of adversity, if they run now, they'll run later too. So again, like we just gotta, and then when you partner that with the whole NIL space, with the name, image, and likeness, when you tying in money to that, now we not only leaving because things are difficult for me over here and I'm not playing, like I'm also leaving because, hey, I can go over there and get a little bit more money than this coach is paying me. So that has also changed the landscape of the game as well. Lastly, man, the question I ask all of my people that come and sit down, BJ, today, what is your one piece of advice to 10th grade BJ?
Oh man. To man. Oh, you about to have me on here. The advice I would give to 10th grade BJ would be maximize every day that you hear. And what I mean by like be intentional about it. And what I mean by that is don't just feel like because you're young you got tomorrow.
Right, for sure.
Just be intentional. Every day you wake up. Have a plan for the next day. Pray, wake up, and try to execute whatever that plan was so you can maximize it, because I'm telling you, what you do today will impact your tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to a saying that I say to, my kids all the time is, a 30-second decision can change your life for the next 30 years. Whether that was a positive decision or a choice you make or a negative, decision or choice that you make. But it's going to impact you for the next 30 years in some type of form of a way. So, just when I was just in the 10th grade, I just wish that I did more.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was. But, I wish I would have put the video game down at times. You know what I'm saying? I wish, I listened to my parents a little bit more. My dad was telling me, but it's your dad.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have a big brother growing up that was just like, that could show me like the ropes and we can understand each other because we're like close in age or whatever. But yeah, it's like what I know now, man, and how things are so achievable if you just actually
just apply yourself
every day.
Every day.
And really not take no days off, even on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Then things can really come in fruition for your life, whatever it is that you want to do.
For
Just
sure.
always believe in yourself.
Well, man, thank you. I appreciate having you on here. And for the love of the game, man, another explosive episode. 2025, we're coming for y'all. Appreciate you, family.
Love you, cuz.
Love you more.
All right.